What's up, everybody? We're back. Fall Damage Central podcast. It is going to be Friday when you hear this, 8/25, 2023. It's been a few weeks since we've been back, or since we recorded anything. About a month now since I think we last recorded. I got Old School Legend Gaming here. What's up, Old School?
It feels so good to be back.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier, I was going to start it with, finally, we have come back to the Fall Damage Central podcast.
Old Bildo Baggins and the Old School Legend back at it.
Yeah, buddy. And you're sounding a lot better than you did before too. You got some software working for you over there.
Yes, sir.
That's dope.
Got some clean vocals, and I think we're good.
Heck yeah, sounds great. You had quite a move ahead of you, or behind you now.
Behind me, yes, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
How bad was that?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 94. It was awful. Moving sucks. You never realize how much stuff you have until you move. And, at one point in time, I was like, you know what? I think I just need to start getting rid of some of this stuff, man, because this is a lot to be traveling with. Luckily, I didn't do that. I got all my stuff. So we are in a 4-story townhouse now, and it's a lot of stairs. Carrying boxes up 4 flights of stairs sucks. My CRT, my beloved Trinitron, has
it took a dive.
It took a dive, man. It did. So at the old house, I got it down the stairs on my own, loaded it up in the truck on my own, and then moving to the new place. So we have a garage on the first floor, and I just kind of set it there for a while because I was like, all right, man, let me rest up. And the stairwells in the townhouse are pretty narrow, so I can't carry it the way you would normally carry it. So I had to get a little creative with it. So put it on a hand truck, turned it on its side, strapped it down with some ratchet straps, and just pulled that bad boy up. The wife helped me. She pushed, I pulled. We got it up there. Set it on the TV stand, and then and at the old house, I moved this TV dozens of times on the TV stand that we built. Because I'd be like, hey, you know what? I don't want it in this corner now. I want it there. Okay, maybe I want it back in this corner. So I went to move it, and I guess I just didn't set it quite right on the stand. Got a little top heavy. Boom.
Oh.
Yeah, that bitch straight up fell, and I just saw it like pieces of plastic just shatter. Just luckily the screen is fine. I turned it on, and it works just as well as it did before. But I just have a big chunk missing out of the top right corner. So I need to try to get
speakers,
some. Yeah.
The speakers still working, everything?
Yeah. Everything is still good.
Nice.
So I just need to get some kind of like epoxy or plaster or something and try to glue that back and shape it up just so it looks somewhat normal.
Yeah. So this TV behind me is a Sony Trinitron. I think it's a 27-inch, and I got that from you. And carrying that up my stairs here, which is average staircase for the 2000s. I don't know what year your townhouse was built, but I was able to carry it up normally up my stairs. And this thing is like 150 pounds at least. It's heavy as crap. And yours was a 32-inch, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a 32-inch. And so that's the one that you and I grabbed from that guy that was giving it for free on Craigslist.
Ah, that's right.
And he was like, oh, I got some 16-year-old teenagers trying to grab this. Da, 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 da. And I mean, it was with the two of us, it was hefty. And we got it up my stairs at the old house with the two of us. But yeah, man, 32 inches. It's for me now that I'm getting older, it's a little bit too much for me, man. So
yeah, especially those old CRTs, man.
Yeah.
When I moved out of my old house, I moved up here. I had a 65-inch 4K Samsung that I put in the back of the U-Haul truck, and I pinned it between two mattresses, like pillow top mattresses, to try to keep it from swaying and everything and hitting stuff. and I got it up here. I got into our first apartment. It was fine, no big deal. We moved into a second apartment before we bought our house. Moved it into that apartment from a U-Haul truck, and it was fine, no big deal. We got it to our house in another U-Haul truck, a third one, and that's the one that did it. Like, it didn't do any visible, like, physical damage that you could see when a TV's off. But when you turn it on, it'd have purple spots, like, up in the
Oh,
corner and all over it.
man.
And I even went as far one time as to trying to take it apart, because you were telling me you fixed one of yours by replacing an LED or something inside. I can't remember.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, so I went to do that, and I took it apart. I got instantly overwhelmed, and I was like, "Screw this! I'm not doing it." So that it was probably like, I don't know, September, October. So Black Friday that year, I just went and got another TV. Said, "Screw it."
Yeah. Yeah. The TV that I fixed, we had an old LG, and the one of the LEDs burnt out on it. So my philosophy is, if something's already broken, like, might as well try to fix it. I mean,
Yep.
I guess technically you can break it more, but if it's already broken, best case scenario, you fix it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were hurting on money at that time, and it was just like we couldn't afford to get a new TV or anything. So I was like, all right, man, let me try to find some parts for it. So I ended up getting this LED strip set specifically for the LG TV model that I had,
Hmm.
and it was like $80. And I was like, all right, man. So best case scenario, best $80 I spent. Worst
Yep.
case scenario, worst $80 I spent. So got the parts, took apart the TV. So the first time I did this, it probably took me about close to 2 hours to disassemble the TV, just because I was being so meticulous with everything. So when you take apart an LCD TV, there's like a lot of like flash paper and like really thin parts inside the TV that like crinkle really easily, that are part of the screen. So I just wanted to make sure that I was just as gentle as possible as I could be with them. So once I finally got to the LEDs, you could literally see like one of the LEDs just that was black. So I was like, oh, okay. And it was just a matter of popping it out, popping the new one in, and then reassembling the TV, and it worked like new.
Hmm.
So I did that. The TV ended up breaking on us eventually. It just, like, the sound went out, and at this point, I was like, we had a little bit more money, so I was like, this TV's old. Let's just go ahead and upgrade to a 4K, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah, can't beat that. Can't beat that. Um, Man, over the past like 2 weeks, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the channel, but I posted that $200 game box, mystery box unboxing, and then I posted that video uh modding my GameCube back there, putting the GC loader in it. And I went from 68 subs to 87 right now.
Yes, sir.
Just just off posting those two videos, and then like three shorts just promoting those videos.
Oh,
Um
see, so I have not seen the videos. I've seen the shorts though. I
oh
haven't seen.
really? Okay.
Yeah. So like I've been away from YouTube for quite some time, so probably a couple of weeks, and I was trying to go back and trying to watch all the videos and stuff that I missed, but I subscribe to a lot of stuff on YouTube, so
Yeah.
it got to be a little overwhelming. So I was like, all right, I just need to pick a point and start from there to just move forward.
Yep, no, I feel you. No, yeah, my game mystery box unboxing is up to 100 views right now, and
Nice.
my GC loader video is up to 35. Um, but yeah, like 20 something subscribers in like 2 weeks. That's like big for small time YouTuber like me.
Yeah, that's
I'm
great,
stoked.
man. So how was your experience with the GC loader, like taking apart the GameCube and all that stuff?
Dude, it was kind of nerve wracking at first because I put it in the Japanese GameCube that you gave me with the little switch on it that you could play North American games or Japanese games.
Mhm.
And I put it all back together. I was following along with the YouTube video and everything, and did everything exactly how I was supposed to. Hooked it up, turned it on, and it didn't boot. Nothing happened. I got this error message that said consult your um, installation manual or something like that, owner's manual. I was like, dang, dude. So for like 2 days, I was watching YouTube videos, I was reading forums and everything. I posted in my local retro gamers group about it. Um, I was asking you about it because you got one, and I tried so many things and it just didn't work. And one day I was like, you know what, screw it, because I had um my personal GameCube still, my American version. Um, I said, you know what, this one's not working, so might as well just try it in the other. I took apart my Japanese GameCube, took the bracket out of there, put it in my North American GameCube, and popped it back, uh, hooked it back up to the TV, turned it on, and it booted right away. So I was like, "Oh, thank God!" I thought I got some faulty piece of equipment from Black Dog Tech, um, but I was super stoked on that. The only difference is what I wanted to do was, the that model North American GameCube doesn't have the third little mounting hole that you need to mount the GC loader in it.
Mhm.
Um, so rather than drilling a new hole, I just used the bracket, because it's the same bracket, just minus that hole, from the Japanese GameCube that you gave me. So I just left the GC loader on that bracket, put it in my North American GameCube, and I noticed the one other difference is there's a little slot in the corner where the fan power wire comes up to
Mhm.
plug into the fan. Um, I didn't have that slot on that Japanese bracket. So I just took a pair of tin snips and cut a little slit in the corner there, and it worked like a charm. It's perfect.
Nice. Nice.
So that's all set and ready to go. I'm
Good
stoked on that.
good deal, man. Yeah, man. Let's see what we can do about getting you one of those boards with the digital output, man. That way you get some component cables
Yeah,
or
and a retro tank.
yeah, man. That's the way to do it. Or you could do one of the HDMI solutions. I've got the Carby that works pretty well. But to my knowledge, I could be wrong on this. With the HDMI, all you could like the only output you would get would be 480p. Which is okay because like if your TV handles that scaling, like if your TV handles that scaling well, it'll look pretty good. But with that RetroTink, man, you could with the RetroTink 5X, you could boost that up to 1440p.
Mm,
Um,
that's what I'm looking for.
yeah, yeah, and you could do that with the component cables. So I do know that the RetroTink supports S video, which S video. So the jump from composite video to S video is huge. Um, like in my opinion, night and day difference. But
Really?
yeah, oh, absolutely. But the jump from S video to component video, it's not as big. So in my opinion, I think there's a lot of times where S video looks just as good as component video does.
So I got an S video cable for my GameCube there. Do you think
Yep.
if I plug that into the retro tank, it'll be just as good as composite?
No, so the S video will be better than composite. Um,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, so it'll probably be just as good as component.
Component.
Yeah,
I get, like, when you say composite, you're talking the regular AV cables that come with like the
correct. Yeah,
NES
so the
N64
yellow,
and all
red,
that.
and white. Yep.
I gotcha. I think of those as AV cables. When you say composite, I get them
Oh,
confused with component.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so the S video is still give you a pretty good picture, just not as good as component cables.
yeah. And like I said, it's if you're playing on a CRT and you plug your S video in and then you plug your composite video in, the difference is it's negligible. Like you really have to sit there and take a look at what's going on. Like your component video is going to give you a little bit deeper colors, but it's if anybody has the opportunity to use S video over composite, please do that because you're going to get the best out of your consoles, and that's going to look really good.
Okay.
Or depending on what consoles you get one of them RGB SCART cables, and the retro tank he makes a SCART to component converter. That way you could convert that over to YPBPR, and you could get that SCART putting out a component video for your CRT.
And it's only $5 more for the adapter, right?
Yep.
So if you're paying $300 for the retro tank, you might as well throw in an extra $5 and get that adapter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that. Definitely gonna have to do that. I like to like play like I know you were talking about doing retro games on your channel and stuff, but I'd like to do like a retro night or something and maybe throw on the GameCube or any one of these other consoles I got behind me. I don't know, like
Yeah,
Tuesday,
man.
Wednesday night or something and just record some stuff, maybe do a live stream. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, man. A live stream and just like grab a stack of games and just play to your heart's content. You get tired of
Yeah.
one, just pop in the next and go for it.
Heck yeah. Got a ton of them. Did you watch any of the Twisted Metal show?
I have not. I haven't had a chance to do much of anything, but that is definitely on my to watch list.
Okay. So my spoilery review from a person that is not huge into the lore and the story of the games. The only Twisted Metal game I have ever really put any real time into, Twisted Metal Black. I think I said it before on here.
Mhm.
But the show has got a lot of criticism from mainly one person I watch a lot on YouTube is Angry Joe, and he don't like it. He don't like this show. He
Really?
says it's trying to be too funny at times. The story doesn't make sense. They're not staying true to the lore of the game or whatever. I guess he's a huge game fan. And usually I am pretty like in line with his views on different shows and movies and games and stuff. I agree with him on a lot of stuff. But
Mhm.
this show, his review, I do not agree one bit, man.
Wow.
I really like this show. And not really being in tune with the games and the lore and everything might help me there. That's why I'm kind of curious what you think about it. But I really like this show, and I wasn't expecting to like it after watching his review. Um, but I watched the first episode, and I get about halfway through. They're only 30-minute episodes, which I think is perfect for this type of show.
Mhm.
I get through the first episode, and I was like, it's good, it's all right, but let me check out the second episode. And then I blink my eyes, and before I know it, I am about 5 episodes in. I'm like, I want to see what's next. I get home from work the next day. I plop down on the couch and I watch another few episodes. That was the first show I've seen in quite a while in my recent memory that I wanted to get home and watch the rest of. Anthony Mackie is, his charisma and everything on TV and movies is great. I love him as an actor. But for the most part, our boy Sweet Tooth, Samoa Joe, steals the show. Every scene he's in. I love it, man. It's the perfect amount of gore and like gore and comedy mixed together. There's a little bit of seriousness in there. Um, but I don't want to say too much without spoiling it for you. Um, but I really, really enjoyed it. The characters they introduce, I'm not too sure the kind of backstories you get in the games, so I don't know if it's spot on with the games or whatnot. But the characters you get in the show are interesting. They show you just enough backstory to make you understand the characters and see where they're coming from, but not enough to where it's like, God, another flashback. What's going on here? Um, but overall, it's a great show, and I'm really interested in hearing your take on it once you see it.
Yeah, definitely, man. So you definitely just hyped it up for me. So I need to get up on that.
Yeah, buddy. Um, man, so what else has been going on? Anything
Oof.
you see lately that got you pissed off or excited or anything?
Yeah, man. So I saw so yesterday Sony they announced the price point and the name of the streaming device for the PlayStation 5. It's going to be called the PlayStation Portal
I
and
saw that.
it's coming in at 199. A lot of people upset a lot of people mad because that's what people do. People get upset, people get mad. But
Yep.
if you keep your expectations in check and pay attention to what is being said, you won't be disappointed. So, read a lot of comments about, oh, we wanted the Vita 2 and yada yada yada, like comparing it to the Wii U, all this other stuff. It's nothing like that. It was when it first got announced, it was a streaming device. They never said, "Hey, you're going to play physical games on this. Hey, we're making games specifically for this." It is literally a streaming device for your
Yep.
PlayStation 5. So, someone like me, I have a game room up on my top floor. If my wife is watching TV downstairs and she wants to hang out, I could bring my PlayStation Portal, go downstairs, and I could play a game while she's doing whatever. We're hanging out.
Yep.
So, go on vacation, hotel room. I don't know about anybody else, but when I travel, I always bring a console with me because that's how I roll. Um, but now don't need to bring your PS5 with you. You got Wi-Fi in the hotel. You could go ahead and use that. This isn't
I'm curious how well it'll work on two separate Wi-Fis, like when you're not on the same network.
so I think as long as each connection is strong enough, it'll be fine. But I think most people have, for the most part, most people have a wired connection. They have a hardwired connection to their PlayStation 5 anyway.
Yeah.
So that Wi-Fi, like the Wi-Fi connection you end up using on that streaming device, is going to be the main thing. But this is not a device that you take on the bus with you. Oh, hey, I'm riding the bus to school. Let me go ahead and play this. This isn't that. This was never marketed as that. This was never advertised as that. It's literally a streaming device for you to play PlayStation 5 games on your little tablet thing. So it would be no different than a cell phone.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's $200. I don't think that's a terrible price point, but the people that are complaining about it just don't buy it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
It's
it's
that
simple as
simple.
that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Vote with your wallet, like we always say. Vote with your wallet.
yeah, I was actually yesterday I was watching this Player Essence stream, and I'm a big fan of that channel, but I was actually kind of disappointed with some of the stuff that he was saying yesterday because he just to me he was just adding more fuel to that fire. His whole thing was like, well, why would you do that when you could just get a Switch or a Steam Deck?
Yeah.
That's not a Switch or a Steam Deck. You're streaming games. Like a Switch, you're going to play physical games on. A Switch Lite, you're going to play physical games on. Like you're literally streaming from one thing to another with this device. That's
Yeah.
all it's meant for. Um, and then a lot of people are complaining about not being able to use Bluetooth headsets, and they're doing the proprietary stuff. Well, yeah, of course. Like they're marketing. They have this new tech. What is it? Sony Link, I believe it's called. So the new headsets that are coming out, they have the Pulse Elite headset, and then they have some earbuds that are coming out that utilize the Sony Link technology. And they put out a statement saying, yeah, that they're starting to go to third-party developers, headset developers with the Sony Link technology, so they can go ahead and build that into all their new headsets coming out going forward. So
Nice.
it's
So
you
it's not
know
like they're trying intentionally to keep it in-house, like solely in-house. It's just a new tech they're rolling out. They're gonna give it to third-party developers at some point, or it sounds like they're doing it now.
yeah,
But it's just their proprietary stuff is all that has it currently.
yeah, yeah. So it's and I know like with the PlayStation Vita came out, so they had proprietary memory cards for that, and that actually really sucked because you were limited to how much storage you could get, and it was like you could get like a 60. I think the biggest what might have been 120 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes maybe.
Yeah.
But those cards were like $200. You know what I mean? So once the modding scene came about, people found ways to come up with adapters where you could just use a micro SD card, and that worked out pretty well. So I'm probably not going to get one of these just because I'm not the biggest fan of handhelds because my hands are big.
Mhm.
So holding stuff like that, like I could play that for maybe like 5, maybe 10 minutes before my hand starts cramping. And this is the reason why I don't use my Switch undocked. So I
Yes.
I, I even have the for my Nintendo Switch, I have like those big bulky like Nyko grips for it that like add like some nice heft, and even those, like hanging onto those for a little bit, my hands just start to cramp and they start to hurt. So
Yeah.
for me, this isn't it's not marketed towards me. So I'm not going to buy it, but I'm also not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, can you believe this? The nerve of
Yeah.
these people." Oh, like shaking my fist at the clouds. No, I mean, it's just move on. Hey, that
Yeah.
cool, not for me. All right, awesome.
Yeah, it's not for me either, but I did see somebody online yesterday talking trash about the way it looks, saying, "Oh, they just took a tablet and put it between put a dual sense controller on it." And honestly, the look isn't, you know, it looks decent for me. I like the grip of the dual sense controller. My problem is I have the same problem as you with the Switch. I think it's like because my hands can't wrap around it, um, they start cramping up because all the weight is sitting like right here on your inside of your hand.
Yep.
Um, I think if I were to able to wrap my fingers around a grip on it and let it rest on my entire hand, like naturally, I think it would be a lot better. And that is what you get with this uh, PlayStation Portal, because I love the DualSense controller. It feels great in your hand. So putting that on the side of each side of a tablet, it makes sense to me. I don't see why anybody would be hating on that. It seems cool. Um, but just for what it is, it's not for me. I'm not. I've never. I've had the PS5 probably 2 years now, and not once I've ever been downstairs and be like, oh man, I wish I could play my PS5 right now. If I want to play my PS5, I'll just come up to my game room and play. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not for me, but I'm not mad at it. It's another cool little device for people to play with. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm sure if people are patient, I would almost guarantee that that's going to drop in price relatively quick.
Yeah,
So if $200 is not the right price point, maybe 150, maybe $100, and if you shop at Best Buy or GameStop, any of those places with the rewards, use those rewards, stack them up, man, save you some money on that.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
um,
we had Gamescom too, man. Did you get a chance to check out Gamescom?
I watched like the highlights of it, yeah. And I watched like the entire showcase, but I kind of skipped through it. I was getting ready to go somewhere with the wife and kids, so I didn't watch every little thing they showed. But I skipped through it, and out of everything they showed, there's one game that kind of made me interested that I don't think I've seen before. I don't think they might have showed a trailer somewhere um, else earlier this year, maybe at one of the other presentations, but they showed gameplay here for Crimson Desert. Does that ring a bell for you?
Um, no.
Okay, so essentially, it's just a third-person action adventure game. I'm reading this off my phone. I took notes, but it's a third-person action adventure game, and I guess you can. It looks like you're doing a lot of sieges on like castles and stuff and towns. Um, and it's like a medieval fantasy game, and it looks pretty cool. Like at one point, he's riding his horse right off a cliff, and then he jumps off his horse and turns into some like I don't know, ghostly, smoky figure or something, and he's flying around, and he flies all over this land, and then comes back down, and his horse like appears right underneath him again, and as he turns back into some dude, and he continues riding and starts fighting people and everything. It looks pretty cool. That's the only thing that's kind of caught my eye on that.
Hmm. All right.
How
Yeah.
about you?
So there really wasn't much. Again, this is another one that I read online. People were just crapping all over it. But again, man, you gotta keep your expectations in check and pay attention to what's happening. So uh previously Jeff Keighley said, "Hey, there's not really going to be any new game footage. This is what we're going over," and essentially gave a list of more footage that we're going to see, and it was all games that had been announced: Assassin's Creed Mirage, Mortal Kombat, a bunch of other ones. I can't think right off the top of my head. So I mean, I wasn't really expecting much going in there. He did get another guy going up there trying to sabotage.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw that.
talking about Grand Theft Auto 6, like
Yeah, what were they talking about it? Like, what were they trying to say for it? Oh, they
the guy was just saying like they're like we want Grand Theft Auto 6. That's what it is.
oh man,
So
what a loser.
I think we need to get Jeff Keighley some Hapkido or some jujitsu classes. That
Yeah.
way, if somebody gets up, man, let him give him a hip toss. You know, hey, you're gonna get up on stage, man. You're gonna get jacked up.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's
Give
what
him
it
a
needs to
stone
be.
cold stunner.
Yeah, but that poor guy, man, he's just like sitting here trying to do his shtick, you know, and some jerk off comes out. Oh, we want Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, like
Cool.
how the hell entitled are you to
Yeah,
demand get up on stage and demand a game like that? Like, come on, man. You'll get it when you
ridiculous.
get it. You should be banned from ever buying it now.
Yeah, yeah. For
Scar.
that, Rockstar should come out and be like, you know what? Just because of that, we're canceling it. And
Yeah.
then, oof.
Oh, please don't do it. Please, Rockstar, don't do it.
um, but yeah, man, you know, they showed off a little bit more Mortal Kombat 1. You know, I'm not really too hyped about it. I think it looks cool, but I feel like it's something that we've already seen. Like I do like how they have like the cameo characters and stuff, but you know, I think we spoke about this before with Mortal Kombat. How many times can you like how many different ways can you kill somebody?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. They showed off the first level of Modern Warfare 3. You know, Call of Duty looks like Call of Duty. You know,
Not interested.
Call of Duty's gonna Call of Duty, man.
Yeah.
They showed off a little bit of Assassin's Creed. I think there's like a couple of JRPGs. Like it was just nothing mind blowing, you know. But I wasn't expecting him to be like, oh hey, here's the Chrono Trigger remake or you know something else earth shattering. So it was what it was. I'm actually like I'm more excited for the end of the year game awards
Yeah.
because I think this year's game awards is going to be really good because 2023 has just had nothing but just fuego releasing.
Yep.
Um, so I thought I thought there was one game that was already in the bag for game of the year, but I think there's a good possibility that that game might not win game of the year.
You referring to Zelda? No, Zelda,
Tears of the,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom. Yep.
Why what has come out since that you think might take the cake?
Well, I know like a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people were really happy with Final Fantasy 16,
Mm,
the best Final Fantasy in the series, et cetera, et cetera. Diablo 4.
yeah.
Um, we got Armored Core coming out tomorrow, which would be well when this airs, it'll be today coming out. Um, dang, I just had another one at the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it.
Baldur's Gate just came out.
Baldur's Gate. Yep, Baldur's Gate. And then, not to mention what else we have coming out. We got Spider-Man coming out. We got Starfield coming out.
Yeah.
The new Sonic game. Although I don't think that'll be in contention for Game of the Year, but there is just so much stuff that has been released that's just whoa. Oh, the Resident Evil 4 remake that came out earlier this year in March. So that's one that's going to be up there as well. So really looking forward to these to the year end to kind of see what we have going on here. But more
Yeah.
importantly, I'm looking forward to Black Friday because I want to see what deals I'm going to get on some of these games.
Oh yeah. That's my favorite day of the year right there. Black
Yes,
Friday.
sir. Yes, sir.
And even nowadays, like Best Buy opens it up all week, all Thanksgiving week, maybe even the week before leading up to it.
So I think last year, man, they did it like all month. So it's
Yeah.
it's like Black Month. It's not even like one day anymore. It's just you know, and that's cool because you know, like some people like they get paid once a month. Some people get paid weekly. Some people you know bi-weekly, twice a month. And you know, depending on when your paycheck falls, you might not be able to take advantage of them Black Friday deals. You know.
Yeah. Yep. I like going into Best Buy during that time and just seeing the hundreds and hundreds of TVs they have lined up down every aisle
Yeah.
for like 3, 4, $500. But recently, every time I go into a Best Buy or a Target or something, it's like the physical games are almost non-existent. There's so many empty spots on those shelves.
Yeah, man. That video I sent you from Target, where we're in Target, and you saw how much empty space there was.
Yep.
That that makes me cry. It does.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm just like,
dude.
man, it's going. But
It,
I have to be honest, man, with this move, I'm kind of leaning more towards digital, man.
ah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I feel you. And with this GC loader I got behind me, I feel like I want to do that with all my retro consoles almost. Like it just makes it so easy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting there. So I've got EverDrives for my Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and Genesis, and then I've got the GC loader for my GameCube. I've got the GDMU for my Dreamcast. I'm thinking, oh, and I've got Freemic Boot for the PS2, and I think I'm going to end up grabbing an X Station to put in my PlayStation 1 because my laser is going out on that one. So I I think I have some spare PlayStation 1s, so I might just harvest the laser out of there just to see. But I really think if I end up going that route, I'm probably just going to end up selling off the bulk of my collection and keeping just like a few games that really mean a lot to me,
Yeah.
because it's like this move just like changed everything for me, man. It's like I'm getting older and I'm like, man, I do not want to be carrying all these games around, because the other thing is like it's heavy. Like
Yeah.
games are
Oh yeah.
heavy, man.
You got them in some big ass totes too.
Yeah. So what I ended up doing was I took the discs out of the cases and I put them in CD binders. And I just packed up the cases by themselves, packed them super tight. Any like excess room or anything in there, you just put packing paper, bubble wrap, whatever it is, and them cases start to add up, and they get very heavy.
Yeah.
The CD binders with the amount of games in them, they get very heavy. So I just finished. I put up my shelves. I put my games up. Yesterday, I spent a few hours alphabetizing everything because I had just put everything up there, and I like my stuff in alphabetical order. That way, I could find what I'm looking for. I
Yeah.
almost did not do that. I was going to leave it as is, but trying to put discs back into the cases was becoming very difficult because I was just like, oh, where's this one? So I was like, all right, the hell with it, man. Let me go ahead, alphabetize these, spend the time, do that. That way, when I put my discs in there, it'll be a little bit easier. But the
Yeah. Yeah.
the big one for me, man, is the PS3, because that's like the PlayStation 3 is my largest out of all the game collections. So I'm probably at about like 220 PS3 games, and
God.
I just like I love the PS3, man, and I can't. So one, there's no drive emulation or anything for the PS3 yet. Um, but a lot of those games, man, I just number one, they're not really. There's a lot of shovelware on there, so I know there's a lot of stuff that's not worth anything. Like I've got like Kane and Lynch, like 1 and 2. I know those are probably like maybe $8 a piece. Um, but then I have some other ones, like I've got like 3D Dot Heroes and Shadows of the Damned and Folklore, Puppeteer. Those are worth a lot, but I don't want to part with those. So I may end up getting rid of everything else except for the PS3 collection, and probably
Damn.
the bulk of the PS4 collection.
Damn, dude. What the hell? What what's this world coming to when the old school legend gaming is contemplating selling off the majority of his physical collection?
Yeah, man. And the other crazy thing too is like when I was putting my stuff up on the shelf, I have games that I didn't even know I had. Like I'm seeing this and I'm just like, man, when did I get this? Or there's like other games that I thought I had that weren't in there. So I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Like, did I have this or did I just dream it?
yeah.
Oh, I feel you. And just the way the prices are going on some of these retro games is just crazy, man.
Everybody's got the gold, man.
I know. I saw somebody. in the retro gamer group I'm part of on Facebook post that he got the 3D Mario, all 3D All Stars Mario collection on Switch. He got it graded recently, and I sent you the picture. I
Yeah.
was like, dude, that acrylic case looks so sexy.
Yeah. The acrylic case is good. I'm not a fan of the game grading.
Yeah,
So I'm just, it is what it is, man. People spend their money on what they want. Me personally, not a fan of the game grading. I think it's just like there's no credibility to it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
it's
Like, where are they getting these prices from?
yeah, and it's one of those things to inflate the market, you know.
Yeah,
So hopefully that guy just keeps it in his collection and doesn't turn around and try to be like, hey, look at this grade Mario 3D All Stars I have. How let's start the bids at 10 grand.
yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. That's how most people are.
But the crazy thing is that somebody will probably buy it just
Yep.
because. Oh man, look at this great deal I got on this graded copy of this Switch game.
You ever hear the bigger idiot rule or bigger idiot theory or something like that?
I have not.
I heard about it because I was kind of getting into the crypto trading and the stock trading a while back, and I still kind of am here and there, but not so much. Um, but the the bigger idiot thing is, well, it doesn't matter what price you buy something for, because there's always a bigger idiot out there that's willing to pay more for it. So, and that's kind of true with everything. I don't know. So, you mentioned though you want to get a PSX or whatever, like a
The
like a
X
GC
Station.
loader X station. That's it.
Yeah.
You want to get an X station for your PS1. Can't you? Because I know the PS2 plays PS1 games. Can't you just throw PS1 games on whatever you got for your PS2 and play them off that?
I don't know. I don't think it's as simple as that because I think the FreeMake boot looks specifically for DVD like
Uh,
ISOs. So I'd have to look into it more because initially I was looking into that because I wanted to throw in like a huge hard drive and set up RetroArch and all that stuff in there to get the emulators and pretty much just have like an all-in-one box for like everything. So and I could be misspeaking on this, but I think there's an issue with PS. Like I don't know if the FreeMake boot recognizes PS1 games or if I just need to download something else. But there is that option. But I like playing PS1 games on my PS1. Yeah, I'm
mhm.
I'm I'm one of those weirdos guys. I like if I'm playing an Xbox 360 game, I like playing on my Xbox 360. I understand that it it's probably upgraded on the Xbox One S, on the Xbox One X, and I do have a Series S. So I don't know for whatever reason it is, man. I just like playing those games on that console. So like the same thing with the Wii. Like if I'm playing a Wii game, I have to put it in my Nintendo Wii. I don't want to play it on my Wii U.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Did you see any anything on the Nordic showcase, the THQ Nordic?
So I did not see that, but I did see that they announced a new South Park game, and then there was a what was it, Ninja Turtles, the Last
The
Ronin.
Last Ronin, yep.
Yeah. So the studio from listening to the Spawncast, the studio that's going to be doing that, apparently they're not known for putting out them bangers. So if they're putting out this Ninja Turtles like action RPG with the Last Ronin, there's a good possibility it's not going to be that good. So
Mm,
keep the expectations in check.
the
So now,
last. So it's not going to be like a side scroller like Shredder's Revenge was.
no, I think it's going to be like a kind of like a God of War type.
Oh. I mean, if they do it right, it'll be pretty cool. But
Yeah, just let Sucker Punch take over, and they could work their Ghost of Tsushima magic on there.
oh yeah, that's another one I got to go back and play. I got it on PS Plus, and I played a little bit of it, and it was pretty cool. But I haven't went back
Yeah,
to it since. So
get the I'm pretty sure they have it's like the director's cut, like the PS5 version that's like optimized for the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that one is that's the definitive way to play.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I gotta get back to that. You mentioned South Park. I was kind of stoked to see that South Park game too. It's they're going back to the 3D style. I don't know if they've done a 3D South Park game since like the N64, but it gave me major nostalgia vibes watching the trailer for it because it's not like, oh my god, those are such good graphics. Like it's on par with the South Park brand on how it looks, in my opinion. And it gives me a flashback to the Nintendo 64 days, um, playing that first South Park game that came out on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Oh, not this wasn't part of the Nordic THQ Nordic, but I did see that they're coming out with a remaster of Turok 3.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
where'd you see that?
I just saw it like randomly on YouTube. Somebody posted, and it looks like it's coming out. I think towards the end of the year or sometime next year.
Really?
Yeah. So now we got Turok 1, 2, and 3, all remade from the N64.
Yeah, Shadow of Oblivion remaster confirmed. That was on the N64. See, I I played Turok 1 and Turok 2. I think I had Turok 2 still up there. I have the first Turok for the Switch behind me, but I never played Turok 3. Was that like the best one?
So Turok 3, it's been a long time since I played it. So it was, I think it was the most different out of all of them because this one, if I remember correctly, I think it takes place in like modern day, like America, and
Yeah.
you're like, you're like the grandson of like the original Turok or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's pretty sick. Yeah, it says it's due out later this year. Wow,
So
so that's coming quick.
I'm really excited about that because I was actually hoping that they would do like the whole Turok trilogy because
Yeah.
I would like to go like I want to replay like all three of them from start to finish with like updated controls and like all this other stuff, updated visuals.
Yeah, so I was playing the first Turok on the Switch. I got it from Limited Run Games a while back. Um, I played pretty far into it, further than I ever got when I was a kid. Um, but I just got to a point and I was like, I do not know what to do right here. And it was probably just something stupid, like, oh, you got to go behind this tree or something, and there's a door or something. I don't know. But I got to that point and I was like, I put it down. I never picked it back up, but I want to go back to it.
Yeah, I never beat it from start to finish. I just use cheat codes. So I would
Yeah.
use it. I use the cheat codes to warp to the bosses, and then like that's how I beat it because I didn't understand it either. But like apparently there's like keys that you get and all this other
Hmm.
stuff. And then
Yeah.
I actually played part 2 from beginning to end, and that was nuts. That was an experience.
I don't even, I know I played it because I have it in my collection, but I don't remember anything from Turok 2. Um, but that's sick.
So the best weapon in Turok 2, it's called the cerebral bore. And what it is, it's like this gun, and it's got this like probe that like you lock onto the enemy, and it fires into their skull, and it like
Oh,
drills in their head, and like you can see like the blood and like their brains like that
God.
that was pretty dope. And then
Yeah.
there was another weapon called the Razor Wind, and essentially it was just like this big giant saw blade that you would have, and you would throw it, and it would come back to you like a boomerang. But when
Yeah.
it would kill people, and it would come back to you. Then it'd be all bloody and everything.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, that was dope, man. So back in the day, like seeing that on the N64, it was like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I want to see a remaster for? Or maybe even, I want to see a remake, not even a remaster, a full on 100% remake. The Duke Nukem for Nintendo 64, the first one.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I played that so much, man. And his little one liner quips are so great. I'd love to see a complete remake of that
I've got
entire game.
balls of steel.
Oh, yeah. Just like that, too. Make my day. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was a good one. I'm definitely in favor of more N64 games being remade.
Hell yeah, me too. Did you see the trailer for Last Train Home in the THQ showcase?
I did not.
I don't really know how to explain it. It looks like a kind of a role playing game, and it's kind of like an isometric kind of view, kind of like Diablo or whatever, but you're in trains, like old steam engines and everything. I don't know if steampunk is the right word for the setting or the type of game it is, but it looked pretty interesting. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember too much from it, but that's one that kind of seems pretty cool to me. I might want to check out. Um, and then Tempest Rising was another one. It was kind of like a Command and Conquer clone almost,
Mhm.
where you build your base and attack people and go to war with all these. I guess there should. I'm assuming there'll be multiplayer um, action on there, so you can get in there and go to war with people and stuff. That looks pretty cool. Um, and then Recreation is like, did you? It's like a racing game, but you build your own tracks and everything, and it's. I kind of want to say it's kind of like Fortnite, where you could like almost build anything you want. Um, but that looks pretty. It's like a Hot Wheels racer, like arcade type racer. It looks like, um, and then you build your own crazy ass tracks. And I think they said you can upload them online, and other players from all around the world could play your tracks and everything. And
Oh
that
wow.
looked pretty cool. That looked pretty cool. And I'm not really a racing type racing game fan, but that looked interesting to me. So maybe, if I catch it on sale for 15, $20, maybe I'll check it out.
Right on.
Um, eh,
But yeah, I think outside of that, man, there really hasn't been too much going on.
yeah, I
I
know.
think.
Um, that's all I had for the gaming stuff that's been going on. But WWE, I know last episode we kind of recorded at the end, we talked about some WWE stuff. Since we've been gone, we had SummerSlam happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty
Um,
good PLE.
yeah, I liked it.
Oh,
And I especially like my boy LA Knight coming out on top of
yeah.
that battle royal.
The Slim Jim Battle Royal, definitely.
Dude, they
Before
got a
but before we continue on with more wrestling talk, man, I got to say R.I.P. man, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt.
yes.
We
Yep.
just got the news that he passed away. We just lost Terry Funk yesterday, also. So
Oh,
any old school wrestling fans, man, no, that's kind of a big deal because Terry Funk was the man. Um, I I actually never I didn't get introduced to Terry Funk until I started watching ECW, and he was in ECW. He was at the first pay per view, Barely Legal, and that was my introduction to Terry Funk. So he's one of the OGs in the wrestling business, man. And rest in peace to Terry Funk. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt.
yes, absolutely. My first experience watching Terry Funk, I never really watched ECW. I didn't know it was a thing until they started interacting with WWE back in the day, or WWF at the time. But the first time I ever saw Terry Funk, he was in character as Chainsaw Charlie.
Yep, Chainsaw
Which,
Charlie and Cactus Jack.
yeah, and oh, dude, that was so awesome, man. He would come out with that chainsaw, ring, 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 and chase people around the ring and everything.
Yeah, and then
That was so.
they had that dumpster match with the New Age Outlaws on Raw. That
Yep.
was
Like
man,
him and Cactus Jack got dumped off the stage in that dumpster.
yeah, that was wild.
It was,
That was
dude.
insane.
Late '90s wrestling was the best, man. The Monday
Oh
Night
yeah,
Wars, when they were just constantly trying to outdo each other. That
yeah.
was awesome, dude. And I was listening to Busted Open podcast. I don't have Sirius XM, so I listen to the podcast, the little snippets and everything on Apple. And Bully Ray was talking about Terry Funk on After Dark. And apparently he's like a super top notch, like good guy too. Bully Ray had a caller call in. I don't know if you heard it, but um, the caller had an experience with Terry Funk years ago. The caller was like 16, 17 at the time, and he was in a diner with his dad and seen Terry Funk sitting there with his daughter eating at the same time. And the guy went up to Terry Funk and just wanted to say thank you for the memories and or say how much of a big fan he was. And Terry Funk shook his hand and then slid the chair out, the extra chair that was at his table, and told him to sit down and gave him this whole spiel on just like life lessons from a legend like that. And he was a really good guy from what from what I hear. So
Man, that's
it's
pretty dope.
yeah, it's sad to see him go, but again, I think it was 79, right?
Yeah, he was
So
up there, and like I know he did have a lot of health issues,
mhm.
because I know him and Tommy Dreamer are really close. So I listen to Busted Open every day, and I mean I've heard Tommy Dreamer constantly talk about like his declining health and always checking on him and stuff like that. So listening to the show today was a little hard because rightfully so, Tommy Dreamer was like really upset, you know trying to get through it, and it's always a tough time, but Busted Open really does a good job when somebody passes. They always have like a tribute show, so it's kind of crazy because today was the Terry Funk tribute show, and I would almost guarantee tomorrow is going to be a tribute show for Bray Wyatt.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that was Busted Open After Dark. I was listening to um with Bully Ray talking about Terry Funk.
Mm.
Um yeah, that sucks, man. Now tomorrow they're gonna have to have another show for Bray Wyatt. God dang, man. That sucks.
Yeah, man, that's oof. So one of my buddy who texted me about that, he's really upset because he lives so where he lives in Florida, at the gym he goes to, Bray Wyatt would go to that gym like all the time. So he met Bray Wyatt a couple times and started talking to him, and he actually got to know the guy who played Bray Wyatt, not just
Mm,
hey, it's Bray Wyatt. I'm a fan of Bray Wyatt. So I think his name was like
yep.
Wyndham Rotunda. So he got to know Wyndham Rotunda as a person, not just Bray Wyatt. So it was, he would always go, and whenever he'd see him at the gym, that it would stop and take pictures and just chat a little bit. He's got kids. Bray Wyatt has kids, so that it was talk about like their kids and all this other stuff. So he's rightfully so, he's upset he lost his friend. But yeah, it's just it's that's a big shock, man. It really is.
Yeah, that dude couldn't have been, you know,
36.
36. I was gonna say couldn't have been much past his mid 30s. Damn. That's horrible, man. And uh, he's been sick for a while apparently, and I don't know. You said earlier before we started recording, he was having heart issues or something.
I don't know if it was heart issues, but he did have some type of some illness, so they didn't clear him medically. So supposedly, depending on what you believe or not, like the dirt sheet guys, the ones who always write like the wrestling rumors and news and stuff, supposedly he wasn't sick, and they just wrote him off TV because like his character wasn't doing that well, and they wanted to get him off TV, and they decided to say he's quote unquote sick. Because at this point Vince McMahon had come back and all this other stuff. So there was talks of him being cut again and then him quitting. But somebody said, hey, listen, like he's like sick. He's like legitimately sick. But again, people didn't believe that. So now he's gone. And I don't know if he passed due to his illness or something else. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't think they announced it. So
Damn, dude.
yeah, that sucks, man.
It really does. Um, but on a lighter note, let's get off this depressing shit.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
LA Knight, man, I in the last 6 months, I've been maybe a little less than 6 months, but recent future, I've become a real big fan of LA Knight. I like what he's doing. I like his shtick, shall we say. Um, I was curious on your thoughts about the promo him and Miz cut 2 weeks ago now, I think, on Raw,
Yeah.
where Miz was just saying like you're a flash in the pan, da, 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 da. And a lot of people are saying Miz got the better of him on that. Um, and I don't, personally, I don't think Miz really got the better of him, but I think they were more on par a little bit. I saw people saying, "Oh, L.A. Knight stumbled over his one of his words or whatever." Like, who cares, man? It's live TV. That's what happens.
Yeah. So it to me, what it seemed like was the Miz cut a flawless promo. Didn't
Hmm.
stutter, didn't do anything. LA Knight had a couple of hiccups, and people automatically are just like, "Oh, that doesn't mean you lost the battle, man. It's just you know what I mean. Like you get tripped up
Yeah,
on your words. We do it all the time here on this podcast. We go to say something, and something else comes out, or the word doesn't come out the way we want it to, and you know that's just how
yeah,
it is. But I liked it, man. I think a lot of people think it's going to be boring, but what people don't understand, man, is Miz is actually one of the biggest stars in the WWE. He's been there for 20 plus years and has essentially done it all.
yeah,
So that's one guy that they throw everything at him and he's able to handle it with grace and he always knocks it out of the park. So in my
yeah.
opinion, super, super, super underrated performer is the Miz. So I think him and LA Knight going into this feud together, I would assume they're probably gonna have a match at Payback, which is the next premium live event. They're probably gonna do something there, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I hope so. And because LA Knight won that battle royal, he's like first in line to get a shot at the U.S. Championship, right?
I don't know because so they didn't really put. They're just like, hey, here's a battle royal. Like if you win it, cool. Like there was really no stipulation for it.
I remember, yeah, that I'm remembering now. Recently, I don't know if it was, I think it was this past SmackDown. Um, um, why can't I think of his name? The former U.S. champion,
Austin
Theory,
Theory.
Austin
Yep.
Theory. That's it. Was out talking trash to Rey Mysterio, saying, "Oh, that's my belt, such and such, this and that." And then LA Knight came out. They had a match, I guess, for the for the first for the number one contender spot, I guess. And then the Miz screwed up LA Knight on that, and Austin Theory ended up winning. So I wonder. I am right, right? Austin Theory won that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I wonder if uh that's LA Knight's shot. Just they're kind of just teasing us, thinking, making us think he's going to get a big push, and then kind of pulling it back a little bit just to have him come back even bigger and better later or something after this whole thing with the Miz is over. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think that's they just did that to add more fuel to the fire with like the Miz story.
Yeah,
Because now they could be like, oh, the Miz cost him a match, blah blah blah. Because if you watched, I don't, was it this past Monday? I think it was. It was either this past Monday or the last Monday. Um, the Miz was going against Akira Tozawa,
yeah,
and LA Knight came out and essentially cost the Miz the match. So now, like, they're tit for tat. So I guess the
yeah,
next thing is going to be a match between the two.
yeah. I'm sure that's definitely going coming at Payback. Are you going to be watching All In this weekend from Wembley?
No, that is a negative.
So I might be watching it. Just like I have an app on my TV. Don't call the cops or nothing on me, but I can watch it for free, so I don't have to pay for it. But I might check it out, watch it, have it on in the background, just because it is a big show and they tend to do a lot of big surprises and stuff. I'm not watching for the current talent or whatever. I'm kind of seeing if they have any legends come back at some point and do something. I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I
if it was a regular AEW show on Wednesdays, Friday, or Saturday nights, I wouldn't be watching.
yeah, I thought about watching it because it is a big show, but I just like I don't watch AEW. I kind of follow what's going on Twitter and on YouTube, and nothing has like, and I understand, like, I'm not getting the full. If I'm not watching it, I have no emotional investment. But so
Yeah.
far, like, nothing has seemed interesting to me, like, at all. I know they're gonna have the Stadium Stampede match, and I don't know what it
Whack.
is, but yeah, I just I'm not into that. I know a lot of people are. Don't burn me for that. It's okay to not like something. It's just not my thing. I'm just not I'm just not a fan of AEW, man.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
neither am I.
we went to that live show that one time, and that was probably like the worst live wrestling show I had ever been to. And up until that point, I guess I would consider myself a diehard AEW man, because I had been watching it like nonstop. I was watching the dark shows, um, both of them on YouTube, and then on Wednesday watching Dynamite, and never missed an episode. And then we went to that live event, and that just changed everything for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just too much, man. And all their matches are like obviously choreographed. Like they're doing all these flips and tricks and everything. And it's more like gymnastics than wrestling and fighting.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we're smart to it. We understand that these people really aren't punching each other and all this other stuff. But you got to have, like, for me at least, I need to have that, like, suspension of disbelief. Like,
Yeah.
I need to be able to be like, oh man, like. But it's hard to do that, like, when somebody's like, okay, let me move into position. All right, let me
Yeah.
just wait here for 5 seconds, and then they go ahead and do that. Um, one thing in
And then
wrestling, one thing in
uh,
wrestling that I don't like, and this has bothered me even like in WWE everywhere, is when they use like these submission holds. So, like, for instance, like the Kimura lock,
uh,
stuff like that. So the Kimura is like a legitimate like submission hold, but in real life, so I have a grappling background. I used to train MMA and jiu-jitsu for many years, and a lot of these holds, if you get put in them, like, you're tapping immediately, like
mhm,
within seconds. And these guys are there like 10, 15 seconds, and then getting out and being able to like walk around and move freely. And I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
kills it for me.
Yeah. Another thing that pisses me off is watching um when obviously somebody takes a big bump and then just rolls immediately out of the ring. And then they sit there on the corner of the ring with their arm up on the apron, just watching what's going on, waiting for their cue to get back in. It's like, guys, come on, man. At least get off camera or something. And it's just like, I know it's a work. I know it's predetermined. I know they go over all this stuff beforehand, but I'm watching it wanting, like you said, I want to suspend my disbelief or whatever the term is. Like, I want to see something that is portrayed to be real, even though I know it's not really real. You know what I mean? Like watching Gunther and his matches, like Gunther and Sheamus on WWE. Like, you watch them wrestling, they're in a knockout, drag out fight half the time, and it's awesome. Even though you know it's predetermined and they know who's going over at the end, it's like they still go out there and beat the crap out of each other for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. And there's a while there too where the camera was catching the guys, like Mox and the other guy, take Takashita.
Mhm.
um there was a couple times where the camera has caught them like blatantly cutting themselves on camera, like,
Yeah.
you see them with the razor, and then they're, oh no, I'm bleeding, like.
Yeah, yeah. What
Yeah,
happened?
it's just yeah, man. I really tried to give AEW a shot. I really did, for like a long time. And I even own AEW merch, man, but now it's
Yeah.
just yeah, I just it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, when we went to that show, I bought a CM Punk shirt specifically for that show. So, it is what it is. I hope
Yeah,
they
man.
get better. I like I don't hope they just tank and burn. I hope they learn and get better. So I think competition is best for the consumers if
Oh
there's
yeah.
competition between both shows. Same thing with games and Xbox, Sony, PlayStation. I think competition just makes it better for the consumers at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no reason for the tribalism. You don't have to, but it's okay to think yours is better than another. But the reality of it, man, everybody has their own opinions. This is all subjective. Nothing is objective. So, you know, gaming nowadays, it's everything is pretty much the same. Like you're essentially getting the same experience on the PlayStation 5 as you're going to get on the Xbox Series. Um, back in the day, you got fairly different experiences if you were playing on the original Nintendo Entertainment System versus like the Sega Master System, or like the biggest example I could think of right now is the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. You know, you had games on both the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, and some of them played better on the Super Nintendo. Some of them were way better on the Sega Genesis. Some of them sounded like, well, I think the majority of them they sounded different between the two, because like the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis both have different sound processors.
Hmm.
Um, but then the same thing, man. You jumped into the N64 and the PlayStation 1. You know, two different experiences, man.
Yep.
And now it's just it really doesn't matter what you have, because you're going to get the same experience.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was old school's lesson of the day.
Boom.
Drop the mic. All right. Well, if you're good, I'm good, man. That's almost an hour, 15 minutes right there, dude.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
good episode.
Yeah, we got a good little chunk there going. This is a good first episode after a month gone.
Heck yeah.
We
I'm
need
glad to be back.
to try to get in some more just random like streaming sessions, man. We could
Yeah, like live streaming?
yeah, dude, we could stream some COD, man, on the you have Black Ops 2, right? On the 360?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
I've got Black Ops 2 as well. Um I've got all those Call of Duty games on the 360, Gears of War. Yeah, man, I think it'd be fun to stream a little bit of the older stuff more so
Yes.
than like the newer stuff. But
I agree.
we'll
I'm down.
we'll see how that goes, man.
I'm down. We'll have to figure out a time to do it. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but all right. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm excited to be back. We're gonna do this. Get back on our original schedule once a week. We'll record Thursday night. We'll post it Friday morning. And cut up some clips to put out in shorts maybe throughout the week leading up to the next episode. Try to get some hype going for this thing. Thanks guys for listening. Subscribe to the Mighty Bildo here on YouTube. Subscribe to Old School Legend Gaming here on YouTube. Go subscribe and leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts. And we see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.